In 2023, I was invited by the gallerist Ethan Cohen to perform a new work at the Kube Art Centre in Beacon, New York. Walking around in this former high school, I ended up in a room where there was a high table, and some windows on the side. I took some pictures and came back to my studio. At that time, I was deeply interested in Edward Hopper's paintings, particularly their themes of isolation, alienation, portrayed in domestic settings. The classroom ambience, with a tall table firmly fixed to the floor and the large windows on the side, seemed perfectly suited as a backdrop for Hopper's bedroom paintings. In his painting, Excursion into Philosophy from 1959, Hopper depicts a couple. A woman lies partly nude, while a man sits on the bed, his gaze fixed on the floor. A book identified as being by Plato rests next to the couple. A landscape picture hangs on the wall on the left. And through the window a view of a field can be seen. A strong sunlight streams through the open window, casting a geometric pattern on the floor. Another pattern painted on the wall behind the characters suggests the presence of an additional window invisible to us. The light symbolizes the intrusion of the external world into their private and intimate space, as well as the passage of time. 2 months later, while I was working on this project in my studio, the painting took a new turn. After October 7th, it was no longer possible to focus solely on my Occidental white male identity and the roots of a philosophical path potentially leading to despair. As a father, my thought focused more about my home and my kids. A few weeks later, I had to travel to New York to perform the work in front of public. Just before leaving, I changed the colors and some parts of the work. I replaced the landscape painting with one depicting 2 boys the age of my own, and I replaced the field view from the window with a fence symbolizing borders between countries, cultures, and human conceptions. Ethan, you are part of the video right now.
I'm just sitting in.
Yeah, you're looking great. When I create a work, whether in front of public like I did at the Kube Art Centre or in my studio, my reappropriation is often not tied to the composition or subject matter. Instead, I reimagine iconic paintings primarily from a medium perspective, inviting contemporary inquiry through the lens of the medium transformation. This plays a central role in my artistic dialogue. In 1964, Marshall McLuhan wrote in Understanding Media, the Extension of Man, that the medium has a greater impact on human perception and behavior than the specific information it carries. My work, after Excursion into Philosophy, operates a physical extension in space and time compared to the original painting. It transitions from a 2-dimensional painting to a real-life scene where sitters are painted on and then captured in photographs and videos. The characters and the space are real. They are constructed for the camera and for the audience who witnesses the construction of the decor and the scene. The interpretation of Hopper's Excursion into Philosophy is painted onto a physical space in a sort of trompe-l'oeil, but it does not align perfectly. The corner of the original room does not match the new one. Hopper's bed is lower than the chemistry table built at the Cube. The original window now spans across 2 windows with differing proportions, and while the bed is close to the wall, in the original painting, the chemistry table is distant. The illusion of Hopper's room, reproduced in the exhibition space, creates a sense of displacement. When I planned my reappropriation of Hopper's work, I removed Plato's book. Plato, the key philosopher and the influencer of the Occidental culture, who leave this couple in despair. For me, Hopper's painting itself serves as a reference and symbolizes for me the broader cultural context. Like Plato, gives the context to Hopper. The historical space symbolized by Hopper's painting undergoes a mutation, the sitters a transfiguration. It is shifted and altered to become an apparent reality. However, simultaneously, there is an impossibility, a failure to reintroduce history in the present realm. A space is created in which a memory is brought back, the phenomenal world is created and inhabited, but it is changed, displaced. Attachment is impossible, it is an illusion. History serves as both an opportunity and a burden, binding us to a world of references that sometimes obscure our present reality.
This is a first time that you have ever done this piece, is that correct?
Yes, I couldn't have done that without my team. It's much better.
We're here.
Artists can make happenings, and you're a deep philosopher, you're a thinker, and I think that this piece really is it is probably, if you want to, what is the most contemporary piece of art in this whole show? Michel Platnic. By Edward Hopper, which was your inspiration here, but you were created with human models, women, and a man and a woman who were nude, that you painted. So in fact, this painting that you're looking at. And so the whole process to prepare it, well, what's the artwork, right? Well, it was actually the moment where you were actually filming the last video right here. And we, now, every day that we show this, we're showing a living painting, which is very interesting. So experiencing a living painting. And this is new. If you're a young collector, this is what I would recommend buying. This is what I would recommend collecting. I've grown to admire this. It's so interesting. So Michel Platnic, we're thrilled that you're here. You came from Israel. You're coming here, hopefully stay in America, we hope. But we're so honored that you're here. This is a major global artist in this show. Welcome, Michel Platnic.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm not sure I can add more. What interested me here is to understand how I can change this space to look like a Hopper painting, but also to play with what there is and what, like for example here, there's a window here. There are actually two windows, one here and one there, and there's a window in the original painting, and there's a bed also in the original painting, but it goes until here, the bed. So I really, when I saw this space, I was mostly interested in like how I could adapt, change, use what there is, and also change what there is. So that was really the tension for me, the most interesting part. Like for example, when she's here, you see that she's on the floor, but the floor is here. So how can I convey that part? So we had this rehearsal of like trying to like, what was the best position?
But it's interesting, listen to what now I have another deeper understanding of your artwork. You are a metteur en scène. You're like a director in a movie. You are, and I'm watching you because that's also part of your artistry. I think we, as visitors, when we were looking at you, just when you were saying, okay, we're done, let's film now, and this is it. And I'm just looking at this film. It's fascinating because this is just part of your artistry. That it's exciting. If we were to have another opening, I would invite everyone when it's all done. But you also you're missing out on how you orchestrated it, how you built it, and so I think it's really you're really like you're a filmmaker, Really, you're like that's very interesting.
Yeah, all the method is very much has to do with cinema actually. So it's cinema, but it is sculpting, painting, performance. Now I have also a project where I'm using AI.
Would you call it intermedia? You're an intra-media artist. Yes, because you're combining so many different artistries. I think that's really exciting. So welcome. So anyway, it's exciting. So you will remember this the rest of your life, that you have been experiencing Michel Platnic in this space here in Beacon at the Cube. So that's very exciting.